So this is really intended to be just a quick refresher of what you learned already in IGCSE about sine rule, cosine rule, and the area of a non-right angled triangle. It's not intended to teach you how to do it. It's just a reminder of what you should have already learned. Okay, so these are the three formulas, four if you count the two different versions of the cosine rule. This version of the cosine rule is to find a missing side, and this version of the cosine rule is to find a missing angle. But really, what's difficult about using these in an exam is not plugging the numbers in; it's deciding which one to use. Okay, so if we consider first of all the sine rule, a over sine a. Okay, so what we're talking about here is sine a is the sine of this angle, and then over its opposite side, yeah, or vice versa. We can have a over sine a, or we can also write the sine rule as sine a over a equals sine b over b, etc. Okay, so if we've got that, this is what we're looking at in the triangle. If we're looking at b over sine b, then we're looking at this in the triangle. Okay, so basically, how I think about the sine rule is we can use the sine rule if we've got pairs of opposite sides and angles. Okay, so you can use if you've got pairs of opposite sides and angles. Okay, and then moving on to the cosine rule. When can we use the cosine rule? Well, if we look at this version here, we've got A, so I'll do that in red. We've got A, we've got B, we've got A and B again, and we've got cosine C. Okay, so what we've got there is side, angle, side. And so you can use this one if you have got S, A, S. And also the area of a triangle, half AB sine C, AB sine C. So these two are both when you've got SAS. And then when can we use this? Well, it's just basically when we've got side, 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 side. So we can use this when we've got all three sides. Okay, so we need to memorize that. You don't need to learn the formulas because they're given to you, but you do need to memorize when you can use them. Okay, so here we've got a couple of examples we're just going to run through. So first thing to do is identify what we can use. Side, angle, side. So we can use the cosine rule to find x. Okay, so the cosine rule says that x squared equals 10 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 10 times 15 times cos 40. Okay, if you work that out, I'm just going to work that out very quickly now on my calculator. 10 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 10 times 15 cos 40. You do it all in one line on your calculator. You get 95.2. Classic mistake here is people leave that as the answer. Remember, that's not the answer. That's x squared. So x is the square root of that, which is I'm having calculator issues, so it's whatever that is anyway. You can, well, I might as well just do it. 95.2. So x is 9.76. Okay, I didn't work it out exactly. There might be a slight rounding error there. And then this one, looking at this one. Oh, notice also with this one, you could have also found the area very easily as well because you've got SAS. With this one, you've got a side and its opposite angle, and you've got an angle and its opposite side. Okay, so you could use the sine rule very easily. Okay, so if I call this x, I could say that x over sine 105 is 6 over sine 35. Okay, and a little bit of rearranging will tell me that x is 6 sine 105, and then divide that by sine 35, x is 10.1 centimeters. And this one, so we've got side side side, so that means we can use the cosine rule to work out any angle. Now, the thing to remember here though is that, let's say I wanted to work out this angle here. Doesn't matter what it's labelled, I'm going to label it theta. Be careful if it's labelled something like A or B. That doesn't mean that, basically you always subtract, when you use the cosine rule for sides, you always subtract the side opposite the angle. Okay, if we look at the formula, I've left it in a bit of a mess, so I'll make it nice and clean again. Okay, if we look at the formula, the minus c squared bit, the one that you subtract is the one opposite the angle you're looking for. So if this had been labelled A or something, don't get confused about, subtracting C, the side C or whatever. It's, you always subtract the side that's opposite the angle. Okay, so for this one, I'll just relabel it theta. I know that cos theta is 9 squared plus 15 squared minus 12 squared, over 2 times 9 times 15. Okay, now one thing to be careful about here is if you do this all in one line on your calculator, make sure you put a bracket around the numerator. Okay, so you can do it on your calculator by doing this, close brackets, divided by, and then put a bracket around your denominator as well. Okay, so you can work out what that is. I'll just do it quickly now. So 9 squared plus 15 squared minus 12 squared divided by 2 times 9 times 15. So for this one you get 0.6, but remember that's cos theta, so theta is shift cos 0.6. Okay, and 53.1 degree. Okay, and then finally looking at this one, this one's kind of been thrown in there as a bit of a trick. Okay, this is something you probably get in an IB exam. So you've got the angle and the side opposite it, but we want to find x, and we don't have this side here. Okay, so the quickest way to do that is simply to basically find this angle here, because you've got opposite sides and angles. So you can find this here quite simply using the sine rule, and then if I call this theta, then you know that x is 180 minus 50 minus theta. And I'm not going to work that out now because I wanted to keep this video quick, and it's already become longer than I intended it for it to be.